Hello, hello, hello! Welcome and well met. Welcome to the stream. Last stream of this week. And it is starting episode 4 of the Great Ace Attorney. So let's get in. Hi. Why are you staring at me? Sorry, I just noticed my cat just staring at me. I'm like, are you gonna jump on my desk? Please don't. I have my stuff on here. I'm sorry, distraction by concern over cat going to mess up my stuff. Please don't. Alright, game. Alright, I didn't actually start it, the episode, because I don't remember if there's like a cutscene in the beginning or not, so... Like, maybe? I really don't remember. Okay, you're not gonna jump on my desk, thank goodness. My cat. Kitty kitty. Mischievous kitty. Mischievous kitty. Oh, I see. Darn it. Okay. Darn it. Missing stuff. Okay, it is just... Okay.
I begin to think, Wilson, said Sholmes, turning his head languidly in my direction, that there is more to this case than that which we have observed. Indeed, that there may be another part to this story that we are yet to discover. His eyes wandered, following the steam rising from his cup of herbal tea, leading him to the distant memory of that snowy evening. To the young lady collapsed on the pavement along Briar Road, and to the knife in her back. Lit in the soft glow of gas lamps, a most extraordinary scene had been set. And under the cover of a light fog, the curtain had risen silently on the insoluble mystery of our invisible killer.
Somehow I didn't think that would play right away. I thought that would play a bit later. Whoops. Okay. February 9th. I think this is the day after the trial that Ryunosuke and Susato had. Did you sleep last night, Mr. Naruhodo? No, not at all. It was an enormous hotel, wasn't it? Rooms were so luxurious, I felt like we were staying in a palace. With all the gas lights twinkling, it was brighter than the day in the middle of the night. But the enormous beds. After my time on the SS Buria, I wasn't going to waste a single inch of that space. Bubble in my throat. They spent the entire night rolling from one side of the mattress to the other. Oh yes, it really was the sort of night you can only dream of normally. Except, when I learned we owe £3 for the room, that dream quickly turned into a nightmare. Oops, sorry about that. The building was so impressive, and the entrance so inviting. I just wandered in without thinking. In a lodging house in Japan, that sum of money would put a roof over your head for a whole year. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't help my tears when we were presented with the bell. Ugh. I really am sorry. Well, never mind. I must find some more affordable lodging straight away, though. If we're not careful, our entire stipend will be used up in 10 days or less. Ugh. London is a scary place. I think this is Strongheart? Good morning to you at this early hour. Yep, it's Strongheart. Hi! There. Oh, yes. Well... Susato's much more close than Ryunosuke. Good morning to you, Lord Chief Justice. I have come to report the outcome of the trial at the Old Bailey yesterday. Susato-san is amazing. She doesn't bat an eyelid, even in the presence of the imposing Lord Strongheart. Yes, I believe you had a very comprehensive initiation into British courtroom practices. Oh, yes, it was very eye-opening. Thank you. And in accordance with your instructions, Lord Strongheart, Mr. Naruhodo performed his duty to the end. Yes, already been appraised of events. You conducted a remarkable defense. We consider the test passed. Oh. No longer are you a student from the Empire of Japan. You may henceforth claim to be a fully fledged lawyer. The country is delighted to welcome young talent from such a remote eastern land. Thank you very much. So I'm a lawyer now. Now, in view of your new appointment, I have a fresh case in mind for you. I'd like you to take on it at once. I trust it won't be a problem. Another case? Already? Nothing trains a lawyer better than a practical experience. I'm sure. I don't sense dissatisfaction, do I? And Ryunosuke's like, I can't deny it, you're too scary. It's just that yesterday's trial ended unusually. I haven't quite come to terms with it. What's to come to terms with? The man was cleared. What more were you hoping for? Him to not die? I think Ryunosuke might. Wait, does he know that? Guess we'll find out. The culpability of the defendant has not, at present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury would not be required to prefer judgment. Oh, Lord Van Zeeks, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. Sketchy man. And he's laughing. I'm not doing that laugh. Like a wahaha laugh. I can't help but I just can't help wondering if Mr. McGilded really was innocent. Mr. Naruhodo! It's just that I never managed to ascertain the truth. And then the trial ended. Well, you need to let it trouble you for a second longer. Sorry? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? Magnus McGilded passed away immediately following the trial. Oh, they didn't know. No! What? Mr. McGilded is dead? Ooh, doves. We scared the birds. Ryunosuke scared the birds. I have 19 minutes and 41 seconds until my next engagement. Time enough to talk. Oop. Okay. Hello. McGilded's death. I don't understand. What happened? How can he be dead? After the trial concluded yesterday, there was a great commotion in the Old Bailey. As you presumably recall, an omnibus had been wheeled into the courtroom. The one with the Phoenix Wright reference on the back of it. You can see the sign there, though I don't think it's all that legible at the moment. Yes, of course. That was the scene of the crime which Mr. McGilded had been accused of. Oh. Weird. Precisely. Well, while the bailiff's attention was diverted by some other matter, the omnibus went up in flames. No. How could such a thing have happened? That is being investigated as we speak. But already, the police have identified a corpse found inside the charred shell of the carriage as that of McGilded. That's awful. Man must have slipped inside whilst the bailiff's attention was elsewhere. The bailiff really needs to pay more attention. And how could that have happened? That is also being investigated as we speak. Thinking back now, immediately after the trial, Mr. McGilda did mention going back to the courtroom to look at the omnibus. Well, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection. Sorry, what inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. An inspection of the omnibus? Not to my knowledge. I don't believe Scotland Yard had any intention of re-examining the carriage. But who was Mr. McGilda talking about? Never mind that now. The Yard is making a thorough investigation. Ooh, hello, Frug. Welcome, welcome. This matter is no longer any concern of yours. Leave it to the police. Or Mr. McGilda. British court. Kane. Oh, jeez. So, how did you find your first taste of our country's Supreme Court? Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it was... wow. I know the exact face and animation he'd have for that line. Mr. Naruhodo means that the whole experience was steeped in the solemnity of Great British long history. Oh, hello, Margaret. Welcome, welcome. It's really a world apart from our own judicial system in Japan, just only a few short decades old. Wow, Susato has such a way with the words. And you seem to have a way of failing to find the right ones. When your inside voice becomes your outside voice without you realizing it. The judicial system here is the most advanced in the world. Learn all you can. Hello, Mr. Imposing. Most advanced in the world, is it? It was fortunate that your very first trial was a simple affair. Simple? That was simple. As I believe I mentioned yesterday morning, it was a trial you couldn't lose. I don't mean to be contrary, Lord Strongheart, but the case was anything but simple. No response. The circumstances of the case were so incriminating, I was stunned when I first heard them. In fact, I'm still finding it hard to believe that we managed to get a favorable verdict. Oh, why is Strongheart laughing? I am not doing your laugh. Is something funny? No, my apologies. However, the fact is that you did receive the not guilty verdict you set out to achieve. That can only be attributed to exceptional talent. Wouldn't you agree? Well, I don't know about that. Well, never mind. You exceeded my expectations, I freely admit. That much, at least, is an undeniable truth. Which is precisely why I have prepared a new case for you that I mentioned before. What is going on? What was he going to say before? When exactly? Oh, he's quiet there? Okay, well, let's see how that indicates he's gonna talk, but okay, whatever, it doesn't really matter that much. New case! Could you perhaps give us some more details about the new case you mentioned? Oh, hello, Grandma Iris. Welcome, welcome. Don't tell me. It's a murder? Don't tell me. It's a murder and the trial starts in 10 minutes. Ryunosuke. Don't worry. It's nothing so alarming or quite so urgent as your last assignment. In fact, this case is completely different. Oh, I see. Did he just read my mind? That is to say, no one has died. As yet. And the trial will not be today. There is plenty of time to research the case thoroughly. 23 hours, 43 minutes, and 19 seconds to be precise. Ah. So the trial's tomorrow then. Is everything alright? Oh, yes, I'm just a little confused. That's all. Yesterday's trial was... well, it left me wondering if I'm really cut out for being a lawyer. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. I don't know if I could face standing in that courtroom after Mr. McGilded's trial. Listen to the brain cells Ryunosuke! Yeah, he's a smart guy. I forgot how old he is. I think he's 20? Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's over 18. He might be 20. It also depends on what part of the game it is. So I think this takes over the course of a year, so he has a birthday. I know Baroque Van Zeeks. Well, I showed in... Was that last time I streamed? I'm not sure. It might have been the last time I streamed. But, Van Zeeks is like, I think... It's 30... Wait, do I have... No, I don't. I'm like, do I have that info? No, I don't. He said it was 32, but by the end of the series, he's 33. So he does have a birthday through the course of the series. Anyway. Ah, yes, I nearly forgot. There is one similarity with yesterday's case. Are you going to jump up, or are you just going to stare menacingly at me from under the desk there, kitty? I already have one menacingly staring person at me. I don't need two. Come on. Do you need to be picked up? Okay. If I ignore her, she'll do something. Once again, there is currently no one to advocate for the defense. Oh. The situation remains unchanged. The trial will start tomorrow with the defendant unrepresented. If that happens, I need not remind you of the inevitable outcome. The most terrible end awaits the defendant. Yes, that's right. Here we go again. Jonghar has to go. Your time is up. You will have to excuse me. I would advise you to begin making preparations for tomorrow's trial. After all, the clock is ever ticking. There is now but 23 hours, 26 minutes, and 39 seconds until the court sits. Last time he mentioned the 23 hours, he said there was plenty of time. And one more thing, Mr. Naruhodo. There's something I should like to ask you. Oh, what's that? Yesterday, you remarked upon something. That you intend to see through the will of your late compatriot, Mr. Asogi. I would be interested to hear what exactly you mean by that. Inside 34 seconds. Oh, well, Kazuma always used to say, you see, that he wanted to learn how the greatest justice system in the world worked, so he could change ours in Japan. But he's gone. I'd like to work towards that myself. And it's another thing. Oh! Another thing? Continue. On the way here, on the steamship, he said something to me. Something very important that I have to do. Something very important. And what, exactly, would that be? He never had a chance to tell me. I suppose he would have done. He made it... You're out of time. Well, thank you for an enlightening discussion. Mr. Naruhodo, what's all this about? Mr. Osogi, for once mention anything of the sort to me. I urge you both to focus your attentions on the matter at hand. Oh, hello. Gregson! Sorry. I know this character, we'll get his name officially in a second, but I had to get my excitement out. He's... Sometimes I want to smack him, but overall I like Gregson. He's functions, if you know the mainline series, he's pretty much the Detective Gumshoes of the Great Ace Attorney. Well, you know, takes the... I know function works. They have a different personality, but you know, the outcome is pretty much the same. You get info from him. And he occasionally helps you out. Anyway, I like Gregson. Taking the liberty of summoning the police inspector in charge of the case. He'll be able to appraise you of the details. How long has he been there? So, wish you the best of luck. Bid you farewell. Bye. Bye, giant unicorn man. There's something very important that I have to do. Kazuma-sama, what did you mean? I wish I knew, but honestly, he never told me. Anyway, we had better talk to the detective, don't you think? Yes, you're right. I hope I'm just imagining it, but I wouldn't say he looks pleased to see us at all. Hello? Oh, I have to exit. That's fine. Hello! He's got food. Ooh, fish and chips! He's always eating fish and chips. Oh. Right, the animation loops, so he just kind of shuffles a bit and then the more pop up. It's so silly. I need a drink. Give me a second. I'm going to do teacup time. I need a drink break. It's not even been half an hour and I'm like, I need a drink. I need to get some water. Guess doing Strongheart's voice is a little hard on the windpipes. Okay. That should do it. Ow. Why did I suddenly get a stitch in my back? Rude. Alright, let me scoot over so I'm not blocking the box. He's just been munching on those the whole time. Wow, my real secret was just I wanted Gregson to eat all the fish and chips. This man can eat all the fish and chips, so he's got an endless supply. He really do. Gregson could solve world hunger with his magic fish and chip newspaper roll. Okay, anyway. Could we trouble you? What do you think? Ah! Lovely weather, isn't it? What's the weather got to do with anything? Listen to me, young Japanese upstart. Some flippery about the weather doesn't get every English gent eating out of your hand, you know. Oop, hello, Alice. Welcome. So thought they told me it was foolproof. I'm a busy man, a very busy man. There's a crime scene to investigate, but I'm here having to give the likes of you a talking to. Oh, I'm ever so sorry. Can you imagine what the other officers will be saying? Haven't seen Gregson anywhere, have you? No, he's busy with the bigwigs these days. Is he eating potatoes? Yeah, he's eating fish and chips. Which is basic. More of potato wedges in this case, rather than what Americans would call French fries. But yeah, he's having fish and chips, as in the potatoes, not How do we describe French fries without just calling them French fries? Potato wedges? Chips isn't potato wedges. We're in London, so you know, British. Britain dialects of English. Because, you know, they're in England. Yada, yada, yada. We're not in the US. We're not having US dialects. Please use, British terms. Well, think British terms, not used. Think British terms. Anyway. Deep fried potatoes. Yeah. And fish. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then because of some bumpkin here who's on a jaunt from a country I've never heard of. Read a globe, dude. Heard that ripping sound? That's my reputation at the yard going to tatters. I have no idea if I'm gonna keep this voice for Gregson. Oh, right. Hold on. Look how he's eating them now. He kind of sounds like he's barking. Like an angry dog barking while growling while eating his food. There's no need to rip us apart as well. I don't believe we've been introduced. This is Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a defense lawyer. Eh? It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Eh? It's the lovely weather we're having today, isn't it? Gregson? It's unseasonably fine, I grant you. London's winters don't see a lot of sunshine. Unbelievable. How did she pull that off? She has charisma, Ryunosuke. You dumped all your points in perception. So I have. Lord Strongheart has asked me to fill you in on the case. The name's Tobias Gregson. Inspector Gregson to you. I'm from Scotland Yard. So I didn't know this at the time, but Tobias Gregson is actually a name from the Sherlock Holmes series. I didn't know that. I think Gina is also... Her name is also from Sherlock Holmes books. I forgot which one it was. It was a particular case. I think it might have been the one with the scarlet in its name. I really should know what it was called, but I don't. It's been a second since I've seen the titles and my brain is just like, no, I don't retain that information. Thanks, brain. Gregson. Inspector Gregson. What's the matter with Susato-san? This detective's name means something to her. Inspector Gregson. Inspector, are you perhaps the Inspector Gregson? Slowly eats potatoes. You are acting like you know this man, Miss Susato. He's a London detective. Oh, I do know him. Very well, in fact. Very well? Yes, he features prominently in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Oh, in that publication. What's it called again? Rand's Magazine? That's right. Inspector Gregson and Mr. Sholmes enjoy a wonderful friendly rivalry. Why am I tripping on this word? Tripping up. Rivalry. I can say that easily beforehand, but today is a no. Let's see. Let's try this again. That's right. Inspector Gregson and Mr. Sholmes enjoy a wonderful friendly rivalry. Really? You rival the great Mr. Sholmes? That's incredible. Oh, well, I don't know about that. Mr. Sholmes isn't a professional like myself, of course. He does come up with goods from time to time. Mr. Sholmes is exceptionally complimentary. Mr. Sholmes is Unexceptionally. Why am I reading that as exceptionally? That's equally. I can't read today, apparently. Mr. Sholmes is equally complimentary about you, Inspector, isn't he? You earned his highest praise. Gregson is the peak of a bad lot of all the Scotland Yarders. Those were his own words. Yeah, pick up a bad lot of all Scotland. I'm feeling to see it. It feels kind of like an insult, Susato. How? Okay, I don't understand how that works as a compliment, but moving on. Yeah, study on Scarlet. Yeah, that one. Thank you, Alice. Oh, that's the one I was thinking of. That's his highest praise. I think that's what people may call a backhanded compliment. Yeah, I know! Well, Mr. Sholmes isn't particularly known for giving compliments, you see. But he's not, and thanks to that magazine, my name's known all over London town now. That's great, isn't it? I have to admit, to start with, I was a little, well, flattered by all the attention. Everyone wanted to shake my hand. My reputation at the yard went through the roof. I forgot already the voice I gave Gregson. Well, that's wonderful. No, it's not. It's nothing more sinister than the man on the street. They're always looking at me now, whispering rumors about me under their breath, I'm sure. Rumors? Are you... Wait, are you quite sure? He's changed since he started appearing in those stories. Fame's gone to his head, stuff like that. Gosh, I really think people are saying such mean-spirited things about you. Like I said, they whisper. Can't catch exactly what they're saying. I don't know what folks are like. I'm sure that they're saying. As sure as eggs is eggs. I'm just remembering an old compliment, because the eggs is eggs thing, I think is just common speech for the time. But one of the, I didn't know this. I think a little bit before this game took place even, that to praise something pretty highly, you could call it good pumpkins. And I'm like, why? I mean, cool, that's, you know, good as any way of saying something's neat and awesome and all that, but why good pumpkins? How did this came about? What is the history here? I don't know, the eggs is eggs sentence made me think of that. I get the feeling this detective could be very hard to work. Oh wait, I think I misread that, hold on. I get the feeling this detective could be very hard. Oh, this detective be very hard work? Eh? Okay, I read that right. I just don't. Okay. Sometimes the sentence structure is just confusing to me. Oh dear. Perhaps a sudden rise to fame does change people. Okay, the case. Next question. So, about the case the Lord Chief Justice mentioned before. Nothing to tell, really. As far as we're concerned at the yard, it couldn't be simpler. Oh dear. That probably means that as far as we're concerned as lawyers, it couldn't be more complicated. I wish you were wrong about that. I have a nasty feeling you're right. A young woman was walking along the pavement on Briar Road when she was stabbed from behind. Fortunately, it wasn't fatal. She's still laid up in the hospital, unconscious. It's despicable. What sort of coward would attack the poor woman from behind? I suppose you would have finished whoever it was off with the Susato takedown, would you? That is neither here nor there, Mr. Naruhodo. Brace yourself, Ryunosuke. You've angered her now. Anyway, for something of a whirlwind investigation, the criminal was arrested. Barely had time for a cup of tea after the incident took place, to be honest. So, there must have been something left at the scene that led you directly to the culprit? Or perhaps a reliable witness who recognized the person in question? Let me stop you there. You're wasting your time on this one. Sorry. There's nothing you can do. There's no way to help the bloke now. Why ever not? Simple. Prosecutors that have been assigned to the trial tomorrow is Lord Barak van Zieks. No. Sounds like you heard of him then. Oh yes, we're very familiar with Lord van Zieks. Believed to be the harbinger of death itself. Reaper of the Bailey. Nope. New thing. Reaper of the Bailey. Conversation go. Lord Barak. Is it Barak or Baroque? I think it's Barak. Lord Barak van Zieks, who we faced in this court only yesterday. Mr. McGilden told us about him before the trial, didn't he? Cute flashback time. Hi! I wasn't expecting to see Van Zieks. I thought it was going to be Mr. McGilden talking about him. When Van Zieks stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. Oh, his theme song's playing. Yep. He's so flamboyant in his movements, but he always has a face of, I don't want to be here, perpetually. Oh my gosh, Van Zieks is fun. And in every trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. This Reaper of the Bailey nickname. I suppose he earned that because every defendant he advocates against is found guilty. Is that it? Gregson looks less than impressed. Well, if that was the case, we should inform you, Inspector, that yesterday's trial against Lord Van Zieks, Mr. Naruhodo secured a victory of not guilty. What of it? Oh, well, I think that means that even against the Reaper of the Bailey, it's not impossible to save the defendant. No, you really don't have a clue, do you? What do you mean? What happened to that bloke in the inn, eh? He's dead. Ah. Agnes McGilded came a copper in that omnibus. Oh. I'm not familiar with the terminology and I got distracted. Copper? I guess they mean a corpse. Anyway, Agnes McGilded came a cropper in that omnibus when it came up in flames. You can't rightly say you saved the defendant, can you? What are you saying? Look, if Van Zieks could get the dirt to stick on everyone, he'd be a miracle worker. But that's not how it goes. It doesn't work miracles. It works magic. Black magic. I'd have a good long think about that if I were you. Are we really supposed to believe that? Munching on the fish and chips again? Oh, that's the end of the conversation. Right, well, I filled you in as requested, and I'm very nearly out of chips. You had plenty with you. Goodness. You ate like a third of the third of it, then you threw it away and got another. So I'll be heading back to the crime scene now. I still carried out a few investigations there. It was Briar Road, you said, didn't you? Where the incident took place. That's correct, ma'am. If you head over to the holding cells, you can meet the criminal himself. You've branded him a criminal already. He's as good as. Shaking like a leaf in his cell, he is. Give you a chuckle if nothing else. He's inmate 53. Speak to the jailer and he'll show you the way. Inmate 53. Thank you. Off Gregson goes. Wait, is he in the court record now? Out of curiosity? Hello? Yes! Yes, he is. He's 44. Right. Strongheart's 52. I keep forgetting that. I keep thinking he's in his 40s, but no, he's lived half a century. Susato is still 16. Okay. So, there's no helping anyone against the Reaper of the Bailey, they say. Is something troubling you, Mr. Naruhodo? To tell the truth, when I recall the trial yesterday, I can't stop myself from shaking. The idea of facing the Reaper in court again is... Well, if you think it's too much for you, there's no shame in turning the case down. That takes courage, too. Yep. Seeing someone who has lived half a century sounds so much more impressive than lived 50 years. I wasn't meaning to make it sound impressive, but I do like saying that. I'm like, oh, you've lived half a century. I don't know. Maybe it's a respect your elders thing. Or it's just a more positive way of looking at it. I don't know. It's like, yeah, I've lived half a century. That's actually kind of impressive. I don't know. But if that man they've arrested is innocent, you could well imagine he would be shaking like a leaf in his cell. And I, for one, wouldn't find the sight of that funny. So, if I'm honest, I'm still reeling from the shock of yesterday's events myself. I'm really not sure if I'll be able to help this man, whoever he is. But I'd like to try, so I think I'm going to make some inquiries. Will you help? Ah, she's smiling. Did you really think you had to ask? After all, I'm your digital assistant. Thank you. So then, shall we? Yes! Let's go! Let's go! Ha 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 ha. Okay, moving time. Well, we can immediately go to Briar Road. The game's definitely pointing me. Go talk to who we're gonna defend first. Okay, off we go! Yeah! Stretch! It is slow! No, we don't get the time. Oh, well, I suppose we could have gone to Briar Road, so they didn't give us a time. So, these are British prison cells. Oh, they're ghastly. It feels just like a dungeon. Yes, and having experienced it in Japan myself, I can assure you that our wooden cells feel a lot cozier than these cold stone walls. Oh, don't, Mr. Naruhodo. You're making it seem worse. Her eyes are all teary. Poor Susato's very sympathetic. I think she doesn't also like the thought of, oops. I dropped my controller and accidentally pulled up the record. Apparently, our client is in the cell here. It's so dark at the back there. I can't make him out. I wonder what he's like. Inmate 53, your legal representative is here to see you. Stop hiding in the back of the cell and show your face at once. Am I a cat? As yet with no name. Calling me by a number. It's utterly unbelievable, unjustly, unreasonable. I refuse to answer. Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think is going on here? I think we immediately got a reference to... If you know of the man's name we're about to meet, the whole thing of I am a cat is actually a reference to a piece of literature in Japan called, I think translates to I'll Be a Cat by Soseki Natsumi. And yeah, guess who the name of the guy we're gonna meet is? Spoilers. What do you think is going on here? I have no idea. But I wasn't just hearing things, was I? Tired of complaints. Was in Japanese. Hello. You look so unhappy. Understandably so, but you're like Ramrod say. Oop. Ryunosuke tried to talk. Shh, quiet. Oh, now he's fidgety. Oh dear. They're around, hiding. I know they are. They're watching, listening. But now, I can sense it. Right. So, could I ask you... You there! Never cursed me, haven't you? Well, you've come to curse me, haven't you? Don't try to hide it. You're a ghost. A ghost? I don't know why I gave him a more squeakier voice. I mean you no harm, prisoner-san. Are you... Japanese, by any chance? Oh, his eyes cleared up. Hi! Maybe I should change his voice, but, if I give him a deep voice, the problem is they'll sound like the judge in Van Zeeks. I guess I'll keep to the squeakier kind of range of voice just for differentiating purposes, even though I don't think it fits him. Is it just me, or does he look like Dr. Frankenstein or Mr. Jekyll? That might be because of the similar time period more than anything else. He is dressed up quite a bit like a Londoner. This is beyond my wildest dreams. And he's crying waterfalls of tears. Oh yeah, he does kind of look like that, Alice. You know, there's been so many iterations of Dr. Frankenstein or Mr. Jekyll, I have zero idea which one you're meaning! I'm like the scrawny one, the red-haired one, the freaky one from like Monster High. Forgive me for the outburst before. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's fine. We're just a little surprised, that's all. Imagine it! It's been 12 long months since I left my hometown, and here I am, in a frightful fit in a foreign land. So hearing the sweet, sentimental tones of a compatriot's voice here in this damp, dark hellhole was a most momentarily moving moment. So sucky. I forgot how eccentric this man was, and I enjoy him. Who could have guessed that this new client Lord Strongheart assigned to us would turn out to be a fellow Japanese? Ah, what compassion my fellow countrymen show. To dispatch a first-class lawyer all the way from Japan to defend a mere foreign student. Eh? Noble, nurturing, never failing, Nippon! And he's posing again. Looks a bit like a young Tesla. Possibly. I imagine they're using some... A first-class lawyer? Oh dear, I think there's been something of a misunderstanding here. I wonder, would you be so kind as to tell us what's happened? Why you've been detained as a suspect, for example. Yes, I can, I will! Shan't say sullen and silent! Oh, what is that pose? I'm not quite sure I understand what he means, but he seems happy. Yes, he does. I just hope he actually has good reason to be. Thank you for your cooperation. I'm a lawyer, as you said. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. And I am Naruhodo-san's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotoba. I am a visiting student. Oh, that's right. Oh, you are a student. I forgot about that. A visiting student sent here by our government. This law was alive in the early 1900s. Oh, yeah, well this is almost 1900? I think it's 1899 still in the game? Or it might be 1900. One of the two. It's in there. That's the time period. Or time frame, I guess would be the better wording. Anyway. Notably, notorious, named Natsumi. Soseki Natsumi. He looks trash. He looks aghast. Oh, the squigglies are in his eyes again. Do I even have anything but his... Yeah, the armband. Okay. Talk to Soseki. Soseki Natsumi. Hello. Soseki Natsume-san. It's an unusual name. Call me Soseki, please. I'm a poet, you see. A writer of haiku. It's something of a nom de plume. A nom de plume? You mean an alias? That's right, Naruhodo-san. No, no, no! Don't be so prosaic. It's much more refined than that. And haiku? That reminds me of home. Did I hear you say that you were a visiting student sent over here by the government? Yes, that's right. A year ago, I was told to go and study English. First, I had to suffer that misery. And now this! It's beyond the pale! Suffer that misery? Did you not want to study here? No, I mean, I had an interest in Great Britain for some years, of course. Oh. But! Just because the government tells you to do something doesn't mean you can do it. No. What do you mean? They told me to study English literature. That I could have understood. That's my field. But no. They told me to study the English language. Utterly unbelievable, unjustly, unreasonable. I see. Only the other day, I was told to send a report about my first year here. I tendered a blank piece of paper. Wise words on white washi. Washi is a type of sturdy paper. For those who don't know what washi is. You must be a man of great standing. Oh yes! So I'm often told. And often like to be told, it seems. He's so eccentric. Accusation against you. Yeah, what is actually going on? Could you perhaps tell us exactly why you've been arrested, Soseki-san? I didn't do it! You committed that atrocious murder! Murder? Oh, no. No, it's alright. The woman didn't actually die, did she? But she was stabbed! With a knife! Right before my eyes! Before your eyes? You mean you saw the attacker? I didn't see anyone. What? If I had seen the person who did it, you think I'd be locked up in here? Oh dear, it seems this case is becoming rather complicated. Why me? Why me? Why did that silly woman have to be stabbed in front of me? It's the curse of London. It's incredibly, inexcusably, irritatingly inconvenient. Soseki-san was there at the scene. He didn't see the attacker. It's vital that we find out more about the case. Okay, and about the case. Oop. Next question. It was an cursed evening, just after the snow had started to clear and the heavy fog away. It was an accursed evening, just after the snow had started to clear, and heavy with fog. I'd been to the bookshop to buy some books, and I was on my way back to my accursed lodgings. Sure the bookshop wasn't accursed too? I was walking along that accursed pavement. I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman, wearing a green overcoat, she was. And just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed into the cold, hard slabs of stone at my feet. Oh dear. He's shaking like a leaf now for sure. How terrible. Called out to the woman, but she didn't move. It was like a ghostly, ghoulish, grim graveyard. Slight exaggeration there, perhaps. Don't worry, we'll get to a, what do you call it? A ghostly, ghoulish, grim graveyard eventually. Not here, though. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran, as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings. That's not good. They'll say it was shameful, I know, to run away like that. Tell me, Soseki-san, the victim an acquaintance of yours? Don't be ridiculous. Do you think I know any of these fair-haired English? And a young woman at that. I'm different. Wait. Defeated? I'm defeated, shy, timid, unsure. I can't talk to people. I see. A young woman unknown to Soseki-san. At the time it happened, who else did you see nearby? Did anybody pass you? Regrettably, apart from myself and the woman, I didn't see a soul. No one. Oh, great. So the victim was unknown to you, and there was nobody else in the street at the time. It creates something of a conundrum, doesn't it? Nerd. Yeah, it kinda is. Hmm? What conundrum? Conundrum. Ah, jeez, I'm yawning all the time now. What do you mean, Susato-san? What's the conundrum? Well, if what Soseki-san has just told us is true, there's something I can't explain. He says he didn't know the victim, and that there was no one else at the scene. Then he apparently fled without having been seen. I did! But if that's the case, surely this man has to be the culprit. Ah! You! What did you just say? Nothing. I didn't say anything. Whoops. Perhaps I thought that a little loudly. Actually, that's not what was troubling me. What I was thinking was, did Soseki-san actually come to be arrested? Sorry. He didn't touch the victim. There's nobody at the scene to see him. So how did the police even discover that he was there in the first place? Oh yes, she's right. It was him. That accursed great detective. He led the police to me. Of all the bad luck. Accursed great detective? Oh wait, that's Ryunosuke, sorry. Accursed great detective? Could it be? Ryunosuke saying his thoughts out loud without realizing it has to be one of the funniest running gags to me. I know, I'm actually surprised this is the first time it got mentioned, given how much it gets mentioned every now. Not all the time. I almost said all the time. But it does get mentioned often enough in the later cases that the reason why people understand, well, can, in quotes, read his mind is because he's actually mumbling out what he's thinking. Apparently he has a bad habit of saying what he thinks. When he doesn't want to say what he thinks. Jeez. I don't even know why I'm yawning. I'm not even sleepy. Why? I shall never forget that man's name as long as I live. With his haughty laugh and his self-proclaimed greatness. Brash, big-headed, busybody, be gone! May you be cursed until the end of your days. Herlock Shlomes. I knew it. Oh no, Shlomes is coming. Yeah. Hello there, Shlomes. Are you causing problems for people again because you don't say out all your thoughts in an understandable manner? Like you have literally every single other time we've seen you? I highly doubt if Soseki, because obviously Soseki is, this is an Ace Attorney game. Soseki didn't do it. He's not being suspicious. Or anything like that. Oh boy. Actually, it's like pretty clear Mr. McGilda did it. Like killed the person last time. And then there's, I think it's the last trial in the second game of the original trilogy for Ace Attorney with Phoenix Wright. I think it's known as the Phoenix Wright trilogy now. Yeah, Phoenix's second game, the last trial for that. I think that's the one with the more complicated defendant thing. I guess I'm gonna drop that in case this is people's first time watching an Ace Attorney anything, and they're gonna find the Phoenix, which you can get on Switch, just to say. Speaking of that, the Apollo Justice Trilogy came out. So if anyone wants more Ace Attorney, well, the Phoenix Wright Trilogy and the Apollo Justice Trilogy are both out. You can get it if you so wish. I am not sponsored. I'm merely just saying that you can go play that. Oh, I'm sleepy. Oh, this is frustrating. I keep yawning. It makes it hard to talk. Oh gosh. Mr. Shlomes. Yep, and it's not even, I don't know how apparently you're supposed to pronounce the Herlock differently, because it's not spelt like his name is. But I don't get where they're coming from. Like, isn't it still just pronounced her? Or is there more like a little slightly different sound? I don't understand. Anyway, Herlock Shlomes. Well, I didn't expect to hear that name from this man's lips, that's for sure. It was the morning after that nightmare had unfolded on the pavement before me. I was gnawing on a sliver of hard cheese when some men suddenly burst through the door. They started shouting at me. This is the police. Put the weapon down. Yes, it was a thin sliver, and yes, it was hard, but I wasn't eating a weapon. Disgusting, dietary, discrimination, devils! It's very enthusiastic, but the weirdest, oddest of things. You clearly had a trying morning yesterday. And there he was, in the middle of all the policemen, grinning like a Cheshire cat. That Herlock Shlomes! It's actually just a Herlock Shlomes. He's English. Since I found out that he's a famous name in detection here in London. Yes, the great detective is really very well known. And his overly sharp mind managed to deduce my whereabouts, apparently. He thinks I'm the knife-wielding madman. Me! This weak, stooped kitten of a man. I appreciate that he just called himself that. Oh yeah. It's definitely a play off of the... Okay, I don't know what you call them, but it's like the Mr. and Mrs. thing, but yeah. I was definitely thinking it's the German for, like, saying Sir, like, it would be like Mr. Locke. Yeah, I get the joke, but it feels like there's a slight pronunciation difference, and that's what I don't understand, because I read Herlock, as in Herlock Sholmes, the name, the same way as I would read Herlock, as in Mr. Locke in German. And I'm like, I'm not entirely sure what the difference is. I'm not German, so I don't understand. I'm like, I need this explained to me. But I understand why. I understand the gag, as it were. I just think there's a slight. I guess I would be more of her lock. Like there's a bit of a pause in between, but it's her lock because it's, you know, a name. I guess maybe is what they're getting at. I'm like that the difference in pronunciation is what's confusing me. I understand what's going on though. Okay. I wonder what the great deduction process led him... Oh wait. I wonder what great deduction process led him to his conclusion this time. Do you mean to say that Mr. Shlum's deduction was the only reason the police arrested you? It would be really most unreasonable. Well, the thing is, I was thrown into a panic when they barged in their way in. Of course you were. It's only natural. I was terrified and trembling. They kept throwing question after question at me. In impossible English. Fiendish foreign film flammery. Well, we are in England. You can't really blame them for questioning you in English. Good point, good point. But my mind went blank. I knew I had to answer, but I didn't know what to say. I just kept repeating things like, yes I do, and I'm fine. The next thing I knew, I was in manacles. Before I knew it, I was thrown in here. Soseki has a wonderful mustache. He does have a wonderful mustache. It must be based on the actual person, because I've seen a few other fictional iterations of Soseki Natsumi, Bungo Stray Dogs being probably the most well-known one. I can't remember the third thing I've seen it. It was only something that I was, how to put it? Like, I knew of it, like I heard it, but I didn't actually read it or really invest into that. I don't remember what series it was anyway. You know, I just heard it in passing and saw a picture. That was about it. But yeah. Soseki Natsumi is a famous literary figure in Japan. So he gets referenced. Unsurprisingly in Bungo Stray Dog. Because Bungo means literary. As in books. Everyone's named after an author in that series. I think really actually every named character is named after a literature. Except maybe a side character or two? Actually, now I'm really unsure. Is actually literally everyone in that series named after an author? Natsumi is friendly. Yeah, Natsumi. Well, that's Natsumi. This is Natsume. Ends with an E. I know that sounds really pedantic, but it actually really matters in Japanese. Anyway. Oh, yeah, I guess for those who weren't looking, if you need to spell his name, here. Soseki Natsumi. There you go. You can look at the screen, that's how you spell his name. I'm like, wait, not everyone's familiar with Japanese names here. The man's name. He is 33. Cool. Alright. It says he's accused of murder, but she hasn't died yet. Everyone keeps getting that detail wrong. Okay. I'll reread this. The next thing I knew, I was in manacles. Before I knew it, I was thrown in here. Oh dear. I'm afraid that's hardly surprising. I'm fine. He's not fine now. Thank you, Ryunosuke, for that riveting bit of dialogue. Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Oh, you can just call me Naruhodo. And when we're speaking English, a simple Mr. is more than enough. Oh, yes. Alright, yes. They've really got to me. This country is poisoning my mind. But please, I beg you to defend me in court tomorrow. You can tell them what really happened. You'll do it, won't you? Well, Why? Why is it so hard to say yes to me? Well, the thing is, I'm just a student like yourself. On a study tour. A student? I have defended a case in the Old Bailey. Only the one, though. But at this moment in time, I really don't know what I'm supposed to believe in. I'm confused about what justice in this country even means. Oh, Naruhodo-san. I'm not even the foreign student who was supposed to be here. I'm sort of a locrum lawyer, I suppose. But that armband! That's the mark of a defense lawyer from our great empire. It's a keepsake from the man who should have been here. He was my best friend. A keepsake? Oh. I know exactly what they're saying about me. Oh, who do you mean? The lawyers. All the British defense lawyers. They won't defend me. Goodness! Why do you say that? For the same reason as you noted before. When it happened, there was only the victim and myself around, and I ran away from the scene of the crime. I'm not a fool. I know it looks as though I must be the culprit. It must be very hard for you, Soseki-san. And anyway, I'm a student from overseas. I'm just a foreign nobody to them. Someone not to be trusted. I heard them openly laughing about me before, in my earshot, without any comeuppance at all. Or, without any compunction? Sounds like he's using words I don't understand. I don't know. Compunction, I believe. Nothing compunction at all. Any trial for this man would be a waste of time, they said. Of course the foreigner did it. They even had the gall to say, the man doesn't understand half of what's being said anyway. That's awful. They're wrong! I've studied more English than half of the policemen out there on the streets. I've traveled halfway around the world to learn about these people's country and its great history. But no one here wants to listen to a man with a strange accent. They all hate me. So, at the very least, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who can listen to me in my native tongue. You could do it, couldn't you? When I look into your eyes, I can see it. I can see what you've been through. So, Seki-san, it's just that. Give me a little time, please. I'll do what I can for the time being. What do you mean? We shall investigate the case as thoroughly as possible. If we find some clues, it'll give us a much better chance, I'm sure. Oh yes, thank you. I'll be here, all alone, waiting for you, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. We should be going then, Naruhodo-san. We have a case to prepare for. Sorry, Soseki. Or should I give him Natsumi? I'm like, I'm not sure actually which is his first name or last name. Well, they've been using their actual name and then their clan name. So Soseki would be his name, and Natsume would be his last name? Yeah. Because in Japan they say functionally their last name first and then their personal name second. The reverse in English when you're speaking English. So sometimes I'm like, I don't know if they're doing it the Japanese way for the Japanese names or if they're keeping it to the English way, and I get a little confused. It's a little hard. Poor Susato and Ryunosuke barely off the boat after a long trying trip, and they're defending these drama people in a foreign court system on life and death cases. Yeah, you know, that's a good point. That's a good point there, Margaret. They have been having a whirlwind a couple of days here. Okay, Briar Road time. There's police officers! And I'm yawning again. Ah. So, this is where it happened. Briar Road. Ah! Look, Mr. Naruhodo! Look at that regulation metal helmet. It's unmistakable. The men of Scotland Yard are here. They're investigating as we speak. That is their job, you know. But Mr. Naruhodo, to see one with my own eyes. They're often depicted in the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, but I never dreamt I'd come this close. You're a judicial assistant, Susato. Did you really think in all your time being here you wouldn't see one? Okay. Well, that's a thing. To reveal Bobby's helmet. What? The helmet? Of course! I have to try one on one day. Well, I hope your happy dreams come true. Oh, hey, Gregson. What's the Japanese delegation doing here? Oh, Inspector Gregson. This isn't on the tourist trail, as I'm fairly sure you're here. This isn't on the tourist trail, as I'm fairly sure you're aware. You're well aware. Yes, of course. We're here to investigate. So you've been to the holding cells then? What do you make of the criminal? He's not a criminal, as you put it, Inspector. He's a suspect. We'll see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose. Well, do what you will. Doesn't bother me. The bloke's in court tomorrow, whatever happens. And the verdict's a foregone conclusion. Ugh, the stone-cold air of rejection. Take heart. London at this time of year is full of stone-cold air. That makes it worse somehow. She's not helping. Okay. What do we have? Okay, we got a few questions we can ask Gregson. Scotland Yard. Tell me about Scotland Yard, Inspector. Ever since I've read about it in the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, I've been fascinated by the place. The Yard is the most sophisticated policing organization you'll find anywhere in the world, ma'am. Yeah, it's shocking that a group of people are looked down upon, want to stick together. Almost like that's the only others who care about them. Delegation. Okay, what? Eh? When did I say delegation? Okay, whatever. Oh, when they came over. Oh, okay. Right. The delegation. Yeah, I'm not the best at pronouncing things. Ah, boy. I'm trying my best. Oh, and you know, I've always dreamt of wearing a real Bobby's helmet. It does make them look the part. Seeing that policeman there with his helmet on. You certainly get the sense that this man... You certainly get the sense that this is a man who will take no nonsense in his duty of protecting the city. Oh yes! Doesn't he look wonderful? I'm trying to remember. It also sometimes doesn't help that I'm just not used to speaking in the voices. Sometimes it's just really... I'm like, I can pronounce this, but not in that voice. Being a London Bobby is hard going. I can tell you. Oh, really? First thing in the morning, you know what he does? Goes round and rouses all the laborers on his beat so they can get off to work. Hold reading and voice acting hard. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Margaret. What? He wakes people up. Yep, raps on their windows with a long pole. Did it myself, going back a bit. I had no idea. Bobby works for the people of the town. It's just another one of his duties. After that, he starts tirelessly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day, and that's the regulation distance. I can't really imagine how far that is. It sounds like a long way. Let me see. 20 miles. That's approximately the distance from Tokyo to Yokohama. On foot? That's definitely taking things a step too far. And that's when it gets dark, of course. He has the important job of... Oh, and when it gets dark, of course, he has the important job of lighting all the gas street lamps. Oh my. And I suppose in between all those duties, Bobbies are expected to investigate cases as well. And chase after criminals trying to evade the law. Not so sure you could call it in between exactly. More alongside, but yes. They're expected to handle those jobs as well. We do have men we do have men keeling over from time to time, I admit. Susan. I always dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said. But it's with a heavy heart that I shall have to relinquish that dream to you, Mr. Naruhodo. Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do. Ryunosuke's like, no, Susato. But the case. It happened around 5 in the evening 2 days ago. Just there on that open bed of pavement. The victim, a young woman, was stabbed with a blade from behind. Is it right that the lady is still unconscious now? You mentioned she's being treated in hospital. I never said she was a lady. Truth is, unless she comes around pretty smartish, we won't be able to find out much about her at all. I suppose that means they haven't been able to take a statement from her, of course. Yeah, it's harder to identify people in this day and age when everyone isn't holding a driver's license. Well, most people. There's usually driver's license. You got student licenses for people who are younger, typically. People during this time didn't exactly carry identification around them for other reasons a lot. Which I guess this is why it's important to carry that with you, because if something happens to you and you're rendered unconscious, they have some way of figuring out who you are and contacting people. Stay safe out there, folks. I suppose that means they haven't been able to take a statement from her, of course. Here's a map of the local area I happen to have on me. You can take it if you want. Really? Are you sure? It's a yard policy to give lawyers defending suspects the odd bit of information to go on. I haven't actually accepted the job yet, but still. Thank you, Inspector. We gratefully accept. Map! Can I look at map? Anyway, as far as we know, there was no one else on the scene other than the victim and your fellow countrymen. So who did it, do you think? Not much of a head scratcher, is it? Well, I know Mr. Natsume was also claiming not to have seen anyone else around. But just because he didn't see anyone, it doesn't mean we can be sure that nobody else was present. Sorry to have to tell you, but we most certainly can be sure. How? Because, ma'am, the precise moment of stabbing didn't go unnoticed. It's... what? We have two very reliable witnesses, no less. Ah! It's a typical foggy London day, and your client obviously didn't see them. There were witnesses now. I kind of put a V on that sound, oops. Who were these witnesses, Inspector? A fellow and his wife. And the man's one of the most reliable and respected citizens of all of London. He's a copper from Scotland Yard. Ah! A policeman? That might change things. And this policeman just happened to be here at the exact moment a woman was attacked. Nothing peculiar about that, ma'am. Part and parcel of being a bobby. Catching them banging the act and all that. Do you think it might be possible for us to ask the policeman a few questions? Be my guest. You can ask him what you like. In court tomorrow. Oh. I have no doubt he'll be summoned as a witness. So that'll give you something to look forward to. That's that then. He's got no intention of letting us meet the man beforehand, it seems. Policeman witnessed the incident. As your judicial assistant, I must warn you, this could make our job very difficult indeed. Yes, as a non-judicial assistant, you'd have warned me of that too. Ryunosuke. He's like, I understand what's going on, Susato. Oh, yes, one more thing, Inspector. What? The person who led you to the suspect. I heard it was Mr. Harlock Schlomes. What are you bringing him up for? Was it something I said? Color has drained from his cheeks. Mr. Schlomes. Who did you hear that name from? Oh, well, it was Mr. Natsume who mentioned it. He said Mr. Schlomes was with the police when they entered his lodging. I'm sure it was a result of one of Mr. Schlomes' inspirational great deductions. Fiddle faddle. The man's an amateur. I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mug everywhere. Oh. I don't know where he gets his information from, but he turns up at the scene of the crime, wanders around spouting incomprehensible rubbish, and before you know it, he claims to have solved the case. Yes, he's quite astounding, isn't he? He's a great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he? Gobble gobble! Ever seen this before? Oh, yes, that's Rand's magazine. A wonderful publication in which the adventures of Herlock Schlomes appear. Yes, well, that wonderful publication, as you put it, sees fit to include several of the Yard's detectives in its stories. And the so-called great detective makes a mockery of us all. Well, of all of us. If you ask anyone at the Yard, he's a misadventure to be included. Oh, it's a misadventure to be included in any Herlock Shlom's tale at all. Well, I suppose there's an element of that. We work our socks off, every one of us, only to be frumped by the public thanks to that obnoxious detective. Man's as dangerous to us at Scotland Yard as he is to all our criminals. That can't really be true, can it, Inspector? Gregson looks a bit like many of the movie depictions of Doctor Who. What is with this street? We get Gregson and everyone's like, he looks like this guy. No, he looks like this guy. And he looks like this guy. Apparently Gregson looks like a lot of people. Oh wait, no, that was Natsumi. Never mind. I'm already misremembering. Maybe I am tired. But more of the streams. Samaria!
Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey.
Oh, that was my twin sister. For crying out loud, you jerk! Why are you like this? I need a moment. Whew. Jeez, my poor heart. My poor heart. I didn't even know she was behind me and she just screamed. Jesus. Now I know how the Ace Attorney people feel when somebody pops up out of nowhere. I did not need a demonstration. That can't really be true, can it, Inspector? Clearly, the great detective and the police have a complex relationship. Okay, so tomorrow's trial now. That's the end of that lie. I ended up questions. That twitchy Japanese bloke goes on trial tomorrow. Are you going to defend him or not? Well, waiting. Makes no difference to me, but I will just say this. No London lawyer worth his salt would touch that case with a barge pole. Because the prosecution is being handled by the Reaper of the Verdi, you mean? There's no way to save the man now. It's a waste of time trying. It's all a bit strange, though. Sorry? The Reaper. He hasn't appeared in court once for a good few years now. Yes, we did hear something to that effect. And the only people he usually bothers with are the real scum. The master criminals. The violent ones. Master criminals? The violent ones? That's right. He handpicks his victims. Only deals with those guaranteed to go to the gallows for their sins. But Mr. Natsume won't be hanged for what he's accused of, surely. That's just my point, Sunshine. Yes, the young woman was stabbed, but it didn't kill her. Couldn't even say the intent was there. This isn't the sort of case I'd be expecting the Reaper to sink his teeth into, for want of a better phrase. Well, it's not exactly a minor infraction, is it? No. Got to be more to it. For some reason he's taken an interest. Really? What sort of reason, Inspector? You think I can tell what's going on inside the head of that Lord of Darkness? You'll have to ask him yourself at tomorrow's trial. Are we really going to have to face the Reaper again? The Lord of Darkness, as he put it. Nope. Question's over. Well, I don't think we're going to get any more useful information out of the detective. Nope. This is Mr. Naruhodo, can I make a suggestion? Oh, yes. What is it? Well, it seems to me that we must speak with him about this. By him, do you mean Mr. Sholmes. Yes! Mr. Sherlock Sholmes, exactly. Look at those shining eyes. You can't wait, can you? Well, Mr. Natsume did blame Mr. Sholmes for all this, didn't he? Yes, he did. He really did. Which makes him an involved party in the case. Are you just going to ignore that? I hope not. I assure you, it's not simply as my selfish desire to meet with Mr. Sholmes again. The trouble is, you have no idea of the man's address, even... It's Baker Street. Don't flip me. She looks like she's ready to flip the Ryunosuke over. How do you know that? It's in the stories, of course. I wonder how Sherlock Holmes' appearance would have been affected by the BBC compact depiction of Sherlock. I don't think it was affected at all, because I think this game would have come out before that. Also, it's a Japanese-made game, so you'd have to figure out if BBC's Sherlock was even watchable in Japan. And also, I imagine the developers only spoke Japanese, as most people in Japan only speak Japanese. So, very little in all probability. Though I imagine the legal troubles they had using the name, would have been still a headache. Just because I know it's always a headache. If you want to use Sherlock Holmes, it's very hard to use his actual name, but it's pretty easy to use Sherlock Sholmes from, what is it? Arsène Lupin by Maurice Leblanc. Because that's how he avoided copyright back in the day when Sir Arthur Conan Doyle got annoyed at him putting Sherlock Holmes in his books. But then he's like, look, it's my legally distinct original character, do not steal Sherlock Sholmes. Which was basically Sherlock, but as just a bit sillier. Honestly, the Sherlock Sholmes name probably does fit, well, Sherlock Sholmes better than him being properly called Sherlock. He's much more, personable than actual Sherlock is, to my understanding. Sherlock is very, oh, woe is me, I'm smarter than anyone and I cannot befriend anybody. And I'm like, dude. Maybe take the stick out of your butt a little. He's not really that bad, but still, it's sort of like, well, you're not really trying to find friends, so what did you expect, Mr. Genius? Okay, let's see. 221B Baker Street, the most famous address in the world. You know, I wonder if it is. I think they renamed a street to this. Maybe. Can't remember. Understood about the name, but how... I don't think his looks. Well, he's blonde in this game. We've seen it before. If you want to see how Sherlock looks, well, it's a little... she showed up a flashback. That was kind of sepia tone. But if you want to see his appearance, you can check... Not case 3. Case 2. He shows up in case episode 2. So if you want to see what he looks like, you can click on one of my episode 2 things if you want to take a look. It shouldn't be too hard to find him. I mean, you see a guy dressed up as Sherlock Holmes. It's like, oh yeah, there's Sherlock. Anyway. Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing to stop us from going, I suppose. We'd better try to find our way there before Susato-san gets any more excited and unpredictable. Hurrah! I'll summon a carriage! So, we have a reunion ahead. The great detective Mr. Sherlock Sholmes. Yep. Time to move. Ah! Yes, game, I can see that. I have eyes. You did not need to tell me that. Thank you. Okay. Let's go. Ooh! I forgot this had an animation. It's a pawnbroker. Sorry, that shows up later. That place.
Thank you very much. It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day. Thanks again. This is it. The residence of Mr. Herlock Shores.
Oh, Ryunosuke already has his accent? The British accent? He had his Japanese accent when he got off in the last cutscene. That was that was literally a day ago. I'm sticking to how I've been speaking as him though, even if it's not accurate. In the Sherlock book, address is 221 B Baker Street. It's an actual address in London. The tourist shop is there to take advantage of the fans. Oh, okay. I'm like, I couldn't remember if it was an actual street they renamed or they used an actual street name, but the buildings were, you know, different and whatnot. But yeah, I'm like, I know at this point there is a place that's 221 B Baker Street, but I don't really remember what kind of buildings are there, but there's definitely, I think there's a museum and gift shop there. I think. I'm also getting, I'm not getting that confused with like Case Closed. Detective Conan, because I go over there, I'm like, that was based off of the real place, right? I think it was. Gosho's pretty good at keeping things accurate if they go to real places. That's the author of Case Closed / Detective Conan, depending on where you live in the world. Anyway. I'm just gonna bring up all the freaking references to Sherlock now. I think that's actually the closest modern day equivalent is Shinichi Kudo from the Detective Conan series. And then we have Kaito Kuroba as our Arsène Lupin. Modern day. Do we have a Moriarty? Maybe? Sort of. A quick Google shows that the BBC Sherlock was released in 2016, where the first game for the Great Ace Attorney was released in 2015 in Japan, so no likely change was made. Oh, thank you, Frug. Alright. Let's get to seeing Mr. Herlock, who's been so much talked about today. Oh, I love this room. It's very cozy. Also, it is a place we'll be seeing again in the game, but I'll let you guys figure it out as to why that is. Well, I'll let the game tell you when it tells you. I guess it's more accurate. Anyway, so I'm really getting sleepy, and not sleepy, tired. I don't know why I'm so tired. It's a bit frustrating, but yeah, we might wrap up on the 2-hour mark pretty closely today, by the looks of things. We're not quite there yet, but yeah, we'll try to make it to the 2-hour mark at least. Okay, oh, okay, yeah. Thanks for making me yawn right when I was ready to read. Ah! Okay. So, this is where the great detective makes his living. It feels surreal to be here somehow. Oh my goodness. Susato. Is it as described in the stories, Miss Susato? Susato? Susato-san. Oh, yeah. She's having a good time. I'm gonna leave it at that. Many famous cases have been solved here in this very room. Oh, I suppose they must have been. Yes. I've never read the stories, so it's hard to get quite as excited about it as she seems to be. The detective chases the villain relentlessly as he disappears into the fog down a unlit London street. Oh, the thrill of it! The romanticism. Can't you feel your heart thumping in your chest? Can you, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, I suppose I can, yes. So if you don't mind, I'll just stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a while longer. Please don't mind me. Ah, she's obsessed. Well, it looks like our detective friend isn't home at present. Just say the end of one shot. It was a longer day, so... And when you need to. Aw. Thank you. Excuse me, is anybody home? I think this is Iris, actually. That's what... Okay. Oh, do we have a visitor? Yeah, it's Iris. Hi, darling! Tute. Obviously, I'm fond of Iris. I haven't really made my dislike or me liking or disliking a character very hidden. Sorry, but it's just some things I just can't hide. Just, Hello! Is it a big new case for Mr. Slopes? Hello. Wait. Aren't you... Oh, how rude of me. I'll go and make some tea at once. I don't think I'm getting Iris. This is the voice I gave Iris last time. Correct, but okay, I'm trying. I'm sure it's the same girl. Miss Susato, did you see the girl who was just here? Oh, yes. Isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Slums to take on his case. The King of Boweria? King Wilhelm Gostrich Sigismund von Ostene for crying out loud. Ormston. King Wilhelm Gostrich Sigismund? I'm going with Sigmund. That's not right, but that's what I can read. King Wilhelm Gostrich Sigmund von Ormston, of course. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Forget the adventures of Herlock Sholmes for a moment, and look over there. Please, Brood. And I have freshly baked cakes as well. Oh, wait. And I have freshly baked cake as well. Ah, it's you. I knew it. Susato-san recognizes her too. Yep. She's the girl who threatened Gina. Or Gina. Not Gina. Gina. Ah, there you are. And taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose. I need to make her sound younger. She's a child. I suppose, of that machine. It's the girl who turned up at the end of Mr. McGilded's trial, in the defendant's antechamber. I've never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Who are you? No, who are you? Having to get straight to work when you've only just arrived in London. Oh, yes, it was challenging. Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know. Oh, thank you. Is tea supposed to look like color? Tea can come in actually a few colors. Green, blue. Green, the blue ones. It's, is it called butterfly tea? To like, tea something. Like, teapot tea. I think it is known as butterfly tea. I'm really trying to remember. Snap tea? Butterfly tea? There's a tea that looks blue, And if you put an acid in it, like lemon, it turns purple. If you put enough acid in it, it's a chemical reaction. It's still drinkable even after you do so. Just don't put an acid in it that you can't eat. Like, you put a lot of kinds of citrus fruits kind of stuff in it. Can't remember another thing you can put in tea that will also change the color but not affect the taste very, well, to a negative degree, but I don't remember what else people tend to put in that makes it change color. But yes, there's a blue tea out there that turns a purple, kind of magenta-y color in the world. I'd go Google it because my memory is too foggy to recall. It should be easy enough to look up though. It's pretty well known. Oh my, what a fragrant yet mellow flavor. Hooray, it's a winner! I tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see. You must be exhausted after your long voyage here. And you have another ticklish trial tomorrow. Oh, and you're to defend a Japanese man. I do wish you lots and lots of luck. Did Mr. Shlomes tell you about us by any chance? Oh, you know Hurley, do you? Hurley? Mr. Shlomes to you, surely. Mr. Shlomes was a fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to Great Britain, you see. Was he really? Well, I had no idea. I'm afraid Hurley's out on an errand again today, even though he's just returned from overseas. Wait a minute. I met this girl for the first time ever yesterday after the trial, and only briefly at that. How on earth does she know so much about us? Did she deduce all those things, do you think? And perhaps more to the point, why is she here in Mr. Shlomes' suite? Oh, silly me. I haven't introduced myself, have I? Curtsy. It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson. I've lived here together with Hurley. Viewers, functionally Sherlock Holmes' daughter. Or Herlock Shlomes, excuse me. Herlock's daughter. It's so cute. There's so many fan arts of them just Herlock being like, I have a daughter and she's adorable and precious and I love her very much. It's pretty cute. I wouldn't look it up though. You might get spoilers. But yes, it's quite cute. Iris, is it? What a lovely name. What? What's the matter? No, wait. This can't be. Did you say that your name is Wilson? What's the matter with Susato-san? Why are you so flustered all of a sudden? Yes, that's right. What are your names? Oh, I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a lawyer from Japan. Oh, sorry. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotaba. It's wonderful to meet you. Lovely! Susie and Bruno. Got it. Susie? And Bruno? There's more to this girl than meets the eye. I have so many questions for her. I don't know where to start. Yes, and so do I. Sadly, I think I'm gonna call it here. This is as good a point to stop as any. We got introduced to Iris! Yay! Proper no. Oh wait, she's gonna be the court record. Let me pull her up. Wait, she's 10. She's very smart. She's a 10-year-old. But I guess that's not too surprising. When you're raised by Herlock Shlomes and you gotta keep up with the space, you probably end up pretty smart. Or at least learning a thing or two. But yeah, she is an inventor. I remember when this game came out in Japan, or after it came out in Japan? I'm really not sure, but we didn't have a lot of information on it here in the West. And I remember everyone thinking that she was the prosecutor for this game. So when I finally played it, or when it finally got around to releasing here in the West, everyone's like, oh, she's a side character. She invents things. She's really smart, but she's not a prosecutor. I don't know how that came to be. I'm kind of curious how people came to that conclusion. It's kind of amusing. Another thing I want to quickly mention is you can see on her goggles the little cloverish kind of design on the actual lenses. She has a little flower motif on that, and you can see it on the other parts of her clothes. So if we get a chance to see more of her model, or if you just look up her design, you'll notice that. And because we already seen Herlock, you'll notice that Herlock on his clothing has that same design Iris has, except it has a gear around it. Because the gear is actually Herlock's symbol in this game, and the flower is Iris. So his symbol surrounds Iris's symbol like he's protecting her. And that is just the cutest thing in the whole darn world in this character design, and I had to share it because it's the cutest thing in the whole game. Well, maybe not the whole game, but it is a very cute character design bit, and I had to share it. So cute. But anyway, let's go to this screen. People thought she would be the cute and underestimated kind of character, the sweet looking but mean kind of character. No, every time I heard about Iris getting mentioned, it was being a prosecutor. But that might be just of what I was seeing. I didn't look into it very much. That is adorable. Protect the child. Yes! Yes, it is. It is very adorable. But yeah, needless to say, Herlock is like, she is 10 and I'm keeping her safe. It's very cute. I'm not sure how soon we are going to see their dynamic. Their dynamic is interesting and not quite what you might expect. Actually, it is what you expect. Just not in the way you're going to be thinking. I'll let you find that out eventually. But yes, we're getting to the end of, what is this? The Great Ace Attorney Adventures, because like I've been saying, Chronicles is made up of 2 games, and so we're on the 4th out of 5 cases from the Adventures part. So, Resolve, which is the 2nd game, really picks it up. So these last 2 cases start laying out some foundation kind of stuff, especially the last case, because the developer was pretty sure, Takumi? Because yeah, I think it's Takumi. Yeah, because he's the creator. He also did Ghost Trick. Yeah, Takumi? Yeah, Takumi. He was pretty sure he could make Adventures and get the sequel, because this was always planned to be a 2-part, 2 games for 1 story. There we go. That's a good way of putting it. Good enough way of putting it. No, I meant for her as a prosecutor, because of what she was wearing. Oh, okay. No, I didn't. Oh, okay. That was a weird burp. Excuse me. Pardon me. Of what she was wearing, her clothes are dark and somewhat structured, so people thought, that's what I thought I said before. Oh, okay, sorry, no. There's a bit of lag between the chatting and whatnot. It happens. Also, I just might have misunderstood. Let's see. I guess you were talking about a character, but yeah. The prosecutor, yeah, that she would be the cute and underestimated kind of prosecutor character. Yeah. You know, now that you mention it, I think I might have heard that too, but I didn't remember until you brought it up. They did think she'd be that kind of character. She is not to be underestimated, but she is an ally character, thankfully. Because Iris is great. Iris is lovely. I really do like the little lady. She's fun. Actually, a lot of the characters are really good in this game. I don't think, I don't think there's really, even the villain characters that obviously you get thrown in jail and all that. I don't think there's any, was there any character that I really found detestable? I mean, there was like, yeah, you've done a lot of bad stuff and you're a complete jerk and I don't really like you. But it's not like that kind of visceral reaction, at least for me. I'm sure there's other people who have much stronger opinions than I do, but as for me personally, I never had an extreme reaction to somebody. It's not like Manfred von Karma in the first Ace Attorney game where I'm like, oh, I hate this guy. I don't even like playing the last trial because I have to deal with him. I do not like Manfred von Karma at all. He makes a great villain. He's not poorly written. I just dislike him that much. Let's see. I mean, there's a few characters in some of the Apollo Justice Trilogy games that I really didn't like. That it just found, you know, not for their poorly written or anything like that, but you know, they're doing their role well because I really don't like them. But in this series, I mean, even with the characters that are, how to say, the antagonists and villains, and they've done wrong and they're trying to get out of it and all that and blame an innocent person, I never really found them completely detestable. Like, they had some redeeming qualities. Or, you know, like, they would do some good. I'm not sure how to say it, but I never found anyone detestable in this game to the point that I didn't want anything to do with, like, that trial, or episode, I guess, as it were, in particular. I hate doing, because I hate this one character in particular. They're very lovable characters, and then the villains are doing villain stuff, and they're doing it bad, but they're doing it with enough, like, charisma and panache that they're not, like, hateable, I guess what it comes down to. No one's like hateable personality-wise. It's still like, no, you definitely suck because you did really a lot of bad stuff, but nothing like personality-wise is they're like really detestable, like some other characters throughout the Ace Attorney series as a whole. I never really thought about that, but yeah, the characters are well written and likable for either of them as they're like, yeah, they make a good villain. I like them as they're doing a good job being a villain. I don't agree with them, but, you know, they're, as a character, I like them. That sort of thing, if that makes any sort of sense. And obviously the allied characters that help you out are all very lovable. Much to the point where I get very excited to see them, and I'm like, hi, friend! Because that's just who I am. I'm like, it's one of the characters I like. I am happy. I cannot hide my glee. Apparently. Very evidently. But yeah, we will be seeing more of Iris and Herlock for sure. They're actually pretty prominent characters within this series, so yeah. I'm just excited. We're getting... I actually don't know how long this case is. I really don't remember. Mostly because, yeah, I've mentioned this before, so it's okay to say it. This case connects with a case and resolve, and so there's a lot of similar locations and characters that show up, so I honestly cannot remember. Not for the lack of, like, poor writing or anything, but I'm getting the two cases jumbled up together, and I'm like, I honestly can't remember which goes to which. Ah! I had to Google, actually, before stream to see what case it was. It turns out I was remembering the case from the second game, not this game. I'm like, oh, good thing I looked it up, or else I would have been really nonsensical. Yeah. So, that's why I have a hard time remembering this case, is because I get it jumbled up with another case because it happens. The two are somewhat connected, so yeah. Anyway, I do hope that you all have been enjoying yourselves. If you did, leave a like. I would appreciate that. Maybe feel free to leave comments, even if you're watching the VOD or anything. I mean, I guess especially if you watch the VOD and want to say something, I guess, silly, go ahead. I mean, you can always, like, type it out and then wait until later to make sure you don't want to end up corrections, because, like, maybe 5 minutes later I'll go, oh wait, oh wait, this is going to happen, and you're just like, you were missing this, but I'm like, I realized later, you know, I get that's why some people don't leave comments. I mean, you don't have to like publish the comment right away. You can like type it out and then delete it. I on anyone's video, not just mine, my videos and whatnot. Just saying, you can do that. That is a thing you can do. I'm just pointing that out. Just this is a little bit of advice. So that goes for anybody here on YouTube and like other platforms and whatnot. I just wanted to point that out. Anyway, if you have been liking my videos though, maybe consider subscribing, and if you just want to see more of this series, maybe consider subscribing, but you don't have to. I don't want to force you. Subscribing to people should be because you want to see more of them. Or not lose them, I guess, in the ocean and seas that is YouTube's videos and algorithm. Which is another thing why I really appreciate anytime anyone like, comments, subscribes. Or just even, you know, what you all want to do. Because we can reach out to more people, and then maybe I can show more cool games to people. Because that's kind of what I want to do. I want to show cool games and put smile on people's faces. Give you all a break from, well, honestly, I don't know. A break for probably some less pleasant things, with any luck. Put some smiles on faces. But in any case, thank you all so much for watching, whether it was live or on the VOD. I very much appreciate it. And for now, I must bid you myces and just happenstancers adieu with a fun bye-bye, and I hope to catch you some other time. Later!